Don't expect that you can do whatever you want in this life and just believe you are a good person. Based on a good person on what? By what merit? What is the scale? Guru is a mirror. When we look into Gurbani, it becomes a mirror and shows us the flaws. It shows us the pimples on our face. It shows us the dog and the scratches and the things that we don't want to actually accept. Bhai Harman Singh Ji writes that if a dog is running around in a room and you walk outside of the room, does the dog stop running around? If you don't look inside of the room anymore. Just because you weren't there to see it doesn't mean the dog is not running around anymore. Here's the question that Bhai Harman Singh Ji is answering. They say, your mind can't focus. They say, every time I try to read Gurbani, every time I try to do Simran, I look inside of me and my mind runs around everywhere. So what do? Do they stop doing Simran? But is that the solution? You look into the world for happiness. When you try to look internally for happiness, then you just see your mind running around anywhere. But it was doing that anyways, whether you're looking inwardly or not. But if you're able to look inside, deep within, assess your flaws, use Gurbani as that mirror, as that self-reflection, truly one day you will see the reflection of Akal Purkh's Jyot within yourself as well. And that moment, you will truly experience liberation. Kahan buddh prabh tuchh hamari, barn sakay mehma jo tihari. हम ना सकत कर सिफत तुम्हारी, आप ले हो तुम कथा सुधारी। सतनाम श्री वाहे गुरु साहिब जी, सतगुर भाणै आपणै, बह परवार सदाया। मत मैं पिछै कोई रोवसी, सो मैं मूल न पाया। मित पैजै मित बिगसै, जिस मित की पैज पावई। तुसी विचार देखो पुत भाई, हर सतगुरु पहनावई। सतगुरु परतख होंदै, बहराज आप टिकाया। सब सिख बंधप पुत भाई, रामदास पैरी पाया। राजान राज भाना न भान, देवान देव उपमा महान। चवर छतर तख्तां दे मालक, ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਦੇ ਸਰਗੁਣ ਸਰੂਪ ਜੋਤੀ ਅਨੂਪ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਰੂਪ। ਧੰਨ 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 ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਨਿੱਘੀ ਗੋਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੁੜ ਬੈਠੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਰੂਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ। ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ 'ਤੇ ਅਪਾਰ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਦੀਵਾਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਾਜ਼ਰੀਆਂ ਭਰਨ ਦਾ ਇਸ ਭਾਗਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਆ। ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ has blessed us with these auspicious moments to be able to sit in this evening divan, in this glorious Sangat of Guru Granth Sahib Sache Paatshah Ji, and in the Sangat. Just like the Gursikhs have done hukam over the past divans and the past days, we've been doing vichar of the Katha of Ramkali Sadh. Aj us ਚੌਥੇ ਪਦੇ ਦੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਦੀ ਆਰੰਭਤਾ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। This Bani that is contained within Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj immediately after Sri Anand Sahib. This Bani known as Ramkali Sadh. Over the past few days we've been discussing this Bani. This Bani Sadh refers to that Sadda, that call that we will all receive at one point, which is inevitable for us, the call of death. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਇਹ ਬਾਣੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਸਰੋਪਾ ਬਾਬਾ ਸੁੰਦਰ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਆ। ਬਾਬਾ ਸੁੰਦਰ ਜੀ, who is the great grandson of Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, the third Guru, their sons, Baba Mohan Ji, Baba Mohri Ji, the grandson Bhai Anand Ji, then the great-grandson, Baba Sundar Ji. Baba Sundar Ji is reciting this, the final words before Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, at the age of 94, 95 years old, they physically left this world. This sadra, this sad, this call, which is inevitable upon us and everybody around us that we see. So ਇਹਦੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੀ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੁਰ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਪਰਵਾਣਾ ਫਿਰੈ ਨਾਹੀ, ਗੁਰ ਜਾਵੈ ਹਰ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਪਾਸ ਜੀਓ। It is truth, ਮਰਨ ਲਿਖਾਏ ਮੰਡਲ ਮੈਂ ਆਏ, whatever is written, that will happen in hukam. And this aspect of pana, which we've discussed in previous divans, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਣੀ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ YouTube ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਥਾਵਾਂ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਪਾ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ, because really this thing that we want to understand in this life, and especially in English, nobody can complain now we don't understand Katha, we don't understand Gurbani. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj blessed Baba Sundar Ji and said to the entire Sangat that ਜੇ ਇਹ ਬਾਣੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਚੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਕਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਪੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਾਵੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਮਾ ਤੋਂ ਮਾਰਦ ਬਚਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ, that you will be saved, that person will be saved from the beatings of the Jamdoots when the person passes away. That's why ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੰਤਮ ਸੰਸਕਾਰ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ, when you see the final rites or the final ceremony, the 5 ceremonies that we have in a Gursikh's life, we have janam sanskar when somebody is born. ਉਹਦੀ ਵੀ ਮਰਿਆਦਾ ਆ, there's a way to conduct that, how a name is chosen, ਕਿਵੇਂ ਗੁਰਤੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ. There is Amrit Sanskar, where we make this commitment to our Guru Sahib Ji and give our head and receive the ambrosial nectar. There is Vidya Sanskar, where we go not only learning about the philosophies and the books of the world, but the Dharmik Vidya, where we learn Gurbani, we read Gurbani Arth, we learn our history. There is Anand Sanskar, where we commit our entire life along with a partner to Guru Granth Sahib Sache Pacha into these vows of marriage. And then there is Antam Sanskar, where we physically leave this body, but pyareo, Janam Sanskar, you were there. Vidya Sanskar, you were there, alive and aware. Amrit Sanskar, you were alive and aware. Amrit Sanskar, you were there. Anand Sanskar, you were there. But Antam Sanskar, you will not be alive and aware. Janam and Marana, birth and death, these are the 2 things that hold our entire life, the inevitable. In between that, you can dress what clothes you want to wear, you choose what language and what accent you want to have, what name you have, what job and career you identify with. But ਪਿਆਰੇ ਉਹ ਸੱਦੜਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਆ, ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਸਿਰਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਆ। ਮਰਨ ਲਿਖਾਏ ਮੰਡਲ ਮੈਂ ਆਏ. The death is preordained when we came into this world. ਤੁਰ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਪਰਵਾਣਾ ਫਿਰੈ ਨਾਹੀ, ਗੁਰ ਜਾਏ ਹਰ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਪਾਸ ਜੀਓ. Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, they physically left. ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਪੌੜੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, we speak about Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੂਰਾ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਭਾਣਾ ਮੰਨ ਲਿਆ, that state where the divine hukam of Akal Purkh is now pleasing to their heart. It is pleasing. There is different aspects, and ਆਪਾਂ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ, we discussed this yesterday, where one state is just called considered sabr. ਸਬਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਜਦੋਂ ਕੁਝ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਭਾਉਂਦਾ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਪਰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜਰਨਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਆ. Something happens in life which we don't consider good to us or we don't consider happy, but we say, I have to bear it. You're not happy with it internally, but you endure it. The second is where you've accepted it and you go with the flow of it. You've moved on from it. We consider that raza. And the third, which we call the salim or complete submission. Pyareo, these states of accepting pana, ki jo ho gaya ya, ha, anand anhad wajah waje. This is what we discussed yesterday, that pyareo, us paane di raza de vich apne hirde nu inna pa gaya hove, Bhai Kaan Singh Ji Nabha writes that Pana comes from the word Pauna, that it is pleasing to you. Now, to say that something that happens and occurs in the world that is not according to you, that may be our perception of life. That is not in my favor, therefore how can it please me? But pyareo, rising above, Prabh ki agya atam hetave, Jivan mukt sau kahave. That person is considered Jivan mukt. That person is considered liberated from this world while still physically alive. And to be able to see that as bliss. Ek maut nu swikar karna, acceptance of death. To be able to see it just as a marriage and a wedding. And Guru Sahib Sache Paatshah and Gurbani, they compare it, this state of preparation. Sometimes Maharaj considers the Jiva Atma to be the soul bride. Tusi Gurbani padde hain. You guys read Gurbani, and maybe you've seen these translations before. That the Jiva Atma, the separated being, is the soul bride, and the Creator Supreme, they are the husband. Sometimes that analogy is used. And in some scenarios, the body itself, the body is considered the wife. The pind, Geo pind. And then on the other side, the Atma, the light within us, that is considered the husband. And this state is talking about a separation. Geo pind jin sajya, ditta pennan khan. So what came first? The Geo or the pind? Swal pinda na. What came first, the body or the Atma, the light within? Geo pind, first the Geo came. Then the pind sajya. Geo pind tin sajya, ditta pennan khan. And for this body itself, Maharaj is giving you the food, the shelter, and the protection around it to be able to live and survive. Yet through that survival, through that ras of the world, we tend to forget कि असल दे विच जदों इस अंदर दे वछोड़ा पैना, when this husband and wife of yours is going to be separated. Just like in this world, we come, we enjoy the luxuries of life, we fit into the family, we play with our children. प्यारो कल बेनती कीती सीगी that just like the world that is temporary, the color of the safflower is beautiful one day, but it will not remain forever. The skin that we have upon our face, it will get old one day. The sun that shines, it will become dark one day. Just like the diva, the lamp is burning, eventually once Diwali di Raat goes away, even that lamp turns dark. In the same way, our body and what we hold on, eventually this will all perish as well. And that separation in which we hold near and dear to ourselves, in the way we attach ourselves into this world, we will be separated from this world by force, because that is hukum. Maharaj de bachan, avan jana hukum tishe ka, hukum hai bujh samavenge, bahud hum kahe avenge. You see, this is a Kalpurkh's hukum. That coming and going into this world, this is a part of that divine law. But is that divine law pleasing to you? Can you reach that state where anything is happening and it is pleasing to your heart? मैं बेनती करा, Pir Budhu Shah, when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah, Pangani de युद्ध विच जाके उन्होंने जंग लड़ी, when they went and fought in the battle of Pangani, they were roughly around 16 years at that time, 16 years old. Kalgitar Paatshah fighting in that battle, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਿਖਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਚਿੱਤਰ ਨਾਟਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ, ਭਈ ਜੀਤ ਮੇਰੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਾਲ ਕੇਰੀ, that I won this battle through the blessings of Akal Purkh. They returned back, but in that battle, pyareo, there were some that became Shaheed as well. They passed away. Pir Budhu Shah's 2 sons had become Shaheed in that battle. When they returned, Pir Budhu Shah saw the forces all arriving back. Sare wapas aunde. But they had heard the news and they saw that their sons were not coming back. Their sons weren't there. But Pir Budhu Shah, in that moment, many turned to them and they said, we are sorry. Jidna aapa aj nahi kehndे sorry for your loss. It's a horrible thing that has happened. Your sons have passed away. Jawan munde that could have taken care, your lineage that would have continued. We're sorry to see your loss. We cry for you. Many people gather around Pir Budhu Shah and they said, Pir Budhu Shah folded their hands and they said, why are you mourning me? Why are you trying to cry in this way? Because no, Sant muhe kya roye, jo apne ghar jaye. I feel that my sons have now fulfilled their purpose of their life. As a father, Pir Budhu Shah says that I could never have been happier. This is the happiest day of my life. Why? Because I know the arrows that pierced my son's body, the swords that cut my son's body, each and every single one of those arrows is a blessing from Kalgitar Pacha, and there is a pashak, that is a promotion, that is an honor receiving towards my son. So why would I cry? I am happy for them. Pyareo, in this pada that we're reading today, this is what we understand, okay, this acceptance or this pashak or this badge that we receive in this world and in this next world, oh halat palat sanu swar dinda hai. It blesses us with honor. Jiਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਚਲੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹ ਪੰਕਤੀ ਵਰਤਦੇ which you read on the daily basis. ਜਿਨੀ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਇਆ ਗਏ ਮਸਕਤ ਘਾਲ, ਨਾਨਕ ਤੇ ਮੁਖ ਉਜਲੇ ਕੀਤੀ ਛੁੱਟੀ ਨਾਲ. That their faces glow. They're liberated, they're blessed with robes of honor. As they enter this court of Akal Purkh, they are blessed with an entourage. They do not walk in there naked and black-faced, just like Nanga dojak chalya. That is the state jinane naam nahi japya. That is the state for those that did not recite God's name, did not collect the true wealth of God's name in this world. Pyareo, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਪੋਸ਼ਾਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਹਿਨੀ ਜਾਣੀ. When we say pashak, I'm saying just like a king's robe of honor, a long robe. You guys watched the king's coronation here in England. Tusi dekhya the robes of honor that a king is being blessed with, the crown, the scepters, the many people that are walking around. But pyareo, us dargah de vich, the many kings of this world, sometimes their faces are blackened kyunki pyareo utthe karma di khed. What purpose did you come into this world and did you achieve that? That is the question. What badge, not the honors of this world, but those that might be slandered in this world, that are being forgotten, that they're saying these persons are putane, they are betale, just like they said to Bhagat Kabir Ji, just like they said to Bhagat Farid Ji and Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. When we look at Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, tatti tavi te bethe hoya, they're sitting on a hot plate, boiling hot sand being poured on their body, and somebody might say, hey, why do bad things happen to good people? Because somebody might say that's a bad thing happening to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, but we've not understood what actual paj means. It's not of this world. Is sansar to pare bhi, beyond that as well. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Sache Pacha Tang Pinjare de vich, they're in a tight cage with spikes on this cage where they cannot even sit against, where they cannot stand, where they cannot crouch properly. Many, many days without eating. Una de pyare Gursikh are becoming shaheed in front of them. But pyare utthe bhi ek aasu nahi. There is not a single tear. I want you to grasp this concept of how a wedding and maut and death are completely compared as simultaneous, one and the same within Gurbani. Just like we prepare a soul bride or bride in this world. Shoti umar to. I don't want to put stereotypes or anything, but just for the analogy, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਇੱਕ ਮਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਪੁੱਤ ਧੁੱਪੇ ਨਾ ਜਾਇਆ ਕਰ. Don't go into the sun. Why? But keep your skin. As she's growing older, the mother is saying to the son ਕਿ ਪੁੱਤ ਤੂੰ ਖਾਇਆ ਪੀਆ ਕਰ, ਤਕੜਾ ਹੋ ਜਾ, ਤੇਰਾ ਵਿਆਹ ਵੀ ਕਰਾਉਣਾ, ਤੂੰ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ, ਪੜ੍ਹ ਲਿਖ ਜਾ, study. Says it to the daughter and the son. When they're young, then they're preparing. And ਵਿਆਹ ਦੀਆਂ ਤਿਆਰੀਆਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ? When the janj gets together, when the barat gets together, they sing glorious praises. They eat beautiful food. They're beautifully dressed. They meet each other and they greet each other. But pyare, oh vela aa janda dolli da. Now that moment that everybody was happy for, in that moment, there's a slight bit of separation. Yet in that, there is not the father that's standing there watching the daughter being taken away from him. He's not saying that this is the bad thing. He's saying this is the day I've been waiting for. I saw it coming. I knew my daughter was going to leave this house. And I've been wanting and preparing for it. And now, but still to watch my daughter go away, it still makes my heart cry. Because there is separation. But pyareo, sant muhe kya roiye? Jo apne grah jaye. Even in the same way, the bride is going to her house where she will become the queen. She will become the master of the household. Yet so why cry? Why cry when a saint leaves this world? Guru Amar Das Ji, Sache Paatshah, they accept this robe of honor in this world and in the next world when they are going to walk into that dargah. Oh, the khud chalo Parmeshwar ne. But pyare main benti karam. Sab manu apna Gurmukhan de bachna to itihas chon eh ek shabd milde ne. You receive these words and these sikhiyawan. You were just like Bhai Taru Singh Ji, Jathedar Bhai Mehtab Singh Ji. Jadon unhon ne ja ke Lahore de vich shaheedi pai. When they went to Lahore, they became shaheed. Bhai Mehtab Singh becomes shaheed. They go into dargah. Bhai Taru Singh Ji becomes shaheed. They go into dargah. And Gurma Khan ne apne anubhav vich unhon ne shabd likhe. They say from their anubhav, their experience of when they're able to go and see what's happening in this dargah. Pyareo, kiਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਇਹ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਖੋਪੜੀ ਲੋਹਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ but ਉੱਥੇ there is a taj, there's a crown on top of the great head of Bhai Taru Singh Ji. As they walk in, the glowing faces of Baba Deep Singh Ji, Bhai Mani Singh Ji, the Sahibzade, as those faces glow and radiant, Bhai Mani Singh Ji is bringing Bhai Taru Singh Ji directly to the spot. Bhai Mehtab Singh Ji directly to the spot where they're being blessed and they have their own taqs and their kings. And Bhai Mehtab Singh Ji says, wait for that person. Jinne mere naal, he's walking behind me. This brother of mine walks behind me. And because of Bhai Taru Singh Ji's seva, the prashadi that they gave us, the clothes that they gave us, because of him I'm able to give the shaheedi today, I want him to have this great spot in this throne. This takht. Lok sukhi par lok khalas. Akal, akal, akal karenge. Sarb log granth de bachan. That in this world, when we sing the timeless, we sing towards the timeless. It is true that we are protected with those robes of honor, not only in this world, but beyond the world. But it depends on what you consider happiness towards your protection, to your perception of life. Ki minnu sukh ki milda? Or are you losing that home and are able to tyag that, renounce that? Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj de bachan ne, jise Satgur Bhanai Aapnai, Bhai Parvar Sadaya. They say that Hon us Parmeshwar de Bhana, Akal Purkh's Bhana, the will of the Creator is the same will as mine. Hon o Bhana da vela aa gaya. That time of this pleasing moment. When I say Bhana, aam Punjabi ਚ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਵਰਤਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਭਾਣਾ ਵਾਪਰ ਗਿਆ, meaning a bad thing has happened. And if you were to call your family and you were to say it in a good, if I just told you, sometimes name ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਚ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, we've just come into Sikhi, we're learning Punjabi, and you just learn the akri arth of words, the word for word definition, but you don't understand the cultural context around it. So I've actually seen it happen in a funny situation. There was a young Singh that came to one of our Santhya classes, and I told him, he asked, what does Pana mean? I spent some time in describing to him, that Pana means this. And or Pana vapar gaya, like Pana occurred, meaning anything that happens within the creation of the Pana. I forgot what happened. He received like a good mark on his grade, or something happened at school. Jiri bahut changi gall sigi. बहुत वधिया मार्क मिले ਜਾਂ ਨਵੀਂ ਕਲਾਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਂਟਰ ਹੋਇਆ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ, ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਾਦਾ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਕੀਤਾ, ਦਾਦਾ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਹਾਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ, ਹਾਊ ਸਕੂਲ, ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਦਾਦਾ ਜੀ ਭਾਣਾ ਵਾਪਰ ਗਿਆ ਸਕੂਲ. He said ਭਾਣਾ, it was all within God's will. It was God's blessing that I got a good mark. And the grandfather, who died? Because ਭਾਣਾ ਵਾਪਰ ਗਿਆ, normally in cultural context, it's used to say somebody has passed away. ਕਿ ਭਾਣਾ ਵਾਪਰ ਗਿਆ. That was God's will. Which it is true. ਬਸ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਸੱਚੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਦਾ ਭਾਣਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਨਾ, then there is nothing good or nothing bad. Whether somebody passes, when a child is born, that is within Pana. When a child passes away, That is within Parna. Somebody might say, an old man passing away, that is expected. But a child passing away, we should cry for that. But pyareo bachyan da vi, we think कि बच्चा आया उन्हां दा लेखा छेती, the person went too early, but that lekha was meant for that moment, and that is bliss and that is pleasing within it. But साडा मोह ही सानू रोकदा आ, or attachment is what stops us. So Satgur Bhanai Aapnai, Beh Parivar Sadaya. Guru Amar Das Ji now calls their entire family together, क्योंकि उन्होंने अपने परिवार ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਦੇਣੀ ਸੀ. They are now about to tell their family. ਕੱਲ ਮੈਂ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ, sometimes you've seen families with bujurgs, old elders that are maybe sometimes in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and their families are very, very big. They have a family of 5 children, and they have another three children each, and they have great-grandchildren. And sometimes this becomes a total of 60, 70 members. ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. They're very, very immense, big numbers. Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj's family is very vast in this way as well. ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਆ. They called their entire family together to give them the sikhya. And this sikhya, the first thing that they said, ਮਤ ਮੈਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਕੋਈ ਰੋਵਸੀ ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਮੂਲ ਨਾ ਪਾਇਆ. ਇਸੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਜਾਣ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕੋਈ ਰੋਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਹਿਤ ਮਰਿਆਦਾ ਦੀ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਇਸ ਰਾਮਕਲੀ ਸਾਧ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, in this ਬਾਣੀ of ਰਾਮਕਲੀ ਸਾਧ, you receive history, you receive ਮਰਿਆਦਾ, you receive spiritual wisdom. It's such a beautiful ਬਾਣੀ with just 6 pade or 6 charan that we can read. ਸੱਚੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ, if somebody passes away in your family, or you have this sense of fear in your mind, okay, somebody, or ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਦਿਖਦੀ ਆ, maybe you get sick, maybe you're diagnosed with cancer, do ਅਰਦਾਸ to Maharaj or ਫੇਵਰੀ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਇਹ ਬਾਣੀ ਦਾ ਜਾਪ ਕਰਕੇ Maharaj really consoles your heart to tell you and teaches you ਕਿ ਇਸ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਤੋਂ ਕੁਝ ਸਭਾ ਨੇ ਕਰਨਾ. That is inevitable, so why worry about that? Worry about those things that you could still do with these diamonds of these breath that you have. ਰਾਮਕਲੀ ਕੀ ਵਾਰ ਕੀ ਕਥਾ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਮਰਿਆਦਾ ਹੈ. ਰਾਮਕਲੀ ਕੀ ਵਾਰ is separate, ਰਾਮਕਲੀ ਸਾਧ is separate. ਰਾਮਕਲੀ ਸਾਧ ਦਾ ਪਾਠ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਰਾਮਕਲੀ ਕੀ ਵਾਰ ਦੀ ਕਥਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. ਐਂਡ ਇੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਬਚਨ ਕਵਾਂ, ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਮਤ ਮੈਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਕੋਈ ਰੋਵ ਸੀ ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਮੂਲ ਨਾ ਪਾਇਆ. What that literally means is that once I pass away, once I leave this physical body, nobody should cry after me. And what this is referring to is 3 ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਕਰਮ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ. We can even call it karm kand, just actions that normally in the culture of India people would do. And you can split this to help us understand into 3 ways. ਇੱਕ ਵੈਣ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਇੱਕ ਸਿਆਪਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਇੱਕ ਧੌਸਾ ਮਾਰਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ. So it was 3 things. 1 was a van, 2 was a siapa, and 3 was a tosa. Van is when the women of the house, they get together and they call out in front of the body and they scream and they praise the person that passed away. And what they're essentially doing, they're saying, this person was so great, don't leave me, I loved you so much, I can't live without you anymore, you're the greatest person in the world. And they cry and they cry in this way. And when they would cry, even though, unfortunately, and Guru Sahib Sachi Pacha speaks about it in Bani as well, Jinde ji odi kade ustat nahi kiti. While the person was alive, the person was never praised. The person was slandered. The person like, acha bujurg nu fir roti deni paini hai. We have to feed this elder. Bujurg nu uthya nahi janda. Can this old man cannot get up and make his own tea? Sometimes they're slandering them, throwing them in retirement homes, saying, I don't have time to get this person's medicine. Acha, just like we change a baby's diaper and the child is very cute, but when the elders need their diapers changed, you don't think they're cute. But this is the reality of life that we have to, Maharaj Sache Pacha and Ramkali Sadh, they're telling us. You came into this world alone, we're going to have to leave alone as well. But when these women And when I say women, bande bhi karde hai, but just in this context, culturally, it was mainly the woman that would do it in the village. And sometimes they would actually hire people from other areas and other villages, and these women would sit down, they would be paid to scream and cry out in pain. And onu kende syapa pona. So sometimes you've probably heard the word syapa in more of a your mom dissing you out sort of phase, ke tu ki syapa paya the. But where the word syapa comes from is this, where they would take their hands and they would smack them on the ground. They would pull their hair out. Vaal khechde sige. And they would smack their head all around, and they would even smack their chest. They hi karde hunde sige. It was meant to say that the person that just passed away, kyunki pyare gurmat vich gallan nahi aundiyan. So don't take this to say I'm encouraging you to do this. I'm saying, Gurmat saying don't do this. Kyunki Gurbani has told us, Ante Satgur bolya, main piche kirtan kareo nirvana jiyo. That's what Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj was saying in the next pada. That we do kirtan. Maharaj ne sanu jidna o alaniyan gaundiyan. Alaniya are the songs of mourning. They sing these songs of mourning and they cry out in pain. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj and Rag Vadhans, they given us a Bani of alaniya to be able to sing and do kirtan. There would be traditions where for 13 days they would cry out in pain, and then after 13, 14 days they would go and do the funeral, because the reason was because they believed the ghost of the person would live around the house in the area. So you had to prove to the ghost that, we did actually love you, so don't haunt us after this. That's the reality. And those of us that are born in England or born in the West and Canada, America, we might not understand this concept. But ask your mothers and ask your grandparents, and they'll say, yeah, it's true, that this is what people believe. They believe that if you did not cry enough, then that person that passed away will come and haunt you. So they would purposely cry. They would hire people to smack their chest, pull out their hair. Vain karde sige. They would scream out in pain. Syapa paunde sige. They would smack their heads on the ground, and then pyareo ek tausa bhi hunda siga. Tausa is what the men would do. They would go to this place where the person passed away. They would put the body on the ground, and then for days they would scream as loud as they can. And what that was trying to do is, if they screamed for an extensive amount of days, that means it would scare the ghost away. It was meant to scare the ghost. They would scare the ghost away so it doesn't come and haunt them after. And this is Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj telling us the reality of life, that those people that you attached your life to, that you think that they were worried about you, maran to baad oh ekdam kende sarir cheti cheti dur kar do, because we can't look at a dead body anymore. The bhoot aa jana hai the. Sab kis jeevat ko bivhar, maat pita bhai sut bandhap, arphun grah ki nar. Even your own wife, even your own children. This is not to say don't love your family. This is to show us the reality. We came into this world alone and we will leave alone. मैं फिर बेनती दोहरावां, गुरु अमरदास जी महाराज दे बचन, मत मैं पिछै कोई रोवसी, सो मैं मूल ना पाया. That is not pleasing to me. I will not be happy if you cry after me in this way. I don't want you to pull your hair out. I don't want you to smack your chest and hit your hands on the ground. I don't want you to be screaming in pain to try to get my ghost away. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਪਹਿਲੀਆਂ ਪਦਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰ ਹਟੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਖੁਦ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਦੇ ਸਰੂਪ ਨੇ. It's the body, the physical body itself, and the 5 elements that are just dispersing. ਪਵਣੇ ਮੈਂ ਪਵਨ ਸਮਾਇਆ, ਜੋਤੀ ਮੈਂ ਜੋਤ ਰਲ ਜਾਇਆ, ਮਾਟੀ ਮਾਟੀ ਹੋਈ ਏਕ ਰੋਵਣ ਹਾਰ ਕੀ ਕਵਨ ਟੇਕ. So then what asra does this person ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ, ਰੋਵਣ ਹਾਰ ਕੀ ਕਵਨ ਟੇਕ? What asra do they have to actually have? What foundation do they have to actually cry? Why are they crying in the first place? Because what ceased to exist? When we think death, we think ceasing to exist. That's not the reality, Maharaj is saying. They're saying that the air in the body, it went back and dispersed into the air. The dirt went and dispersed into the dirt. The heat of the body went and dispersed with the heat. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਆਤਮਕ ਜੋਤ ਹੈ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਵਰ ਚ ਮਿਲ ਗਈ. ਕੌਣ ਮੁਆ ਰੇ ਕੌਣ ਮੁਆ, ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਮਿਲ ਕਰੋ ਵਿਚਾਰਾ, ਇਹ ਤੋਂ ਚੱਲਤ ਪਿਆ. So, oh, spiritual wise saints, sit together and try to diagnose this mystery. This mystery Because people don't understand what actual death is or how to die. Kabir marta marta jagmua. Mar pe na janya koi. Nobody's actually understood exactly what death is. But everyone is saying, Sara Sansar is saying they're afraid of death. But even while without dying, oh sare marde pe hai. They're dying. Because andar da atma ka khada nahi hai. There is no spiritual blossoming happening in their life. So they're alive, yet they're dead. But jede Jeevan Mukt hai pyareo, sansar de vich jee rahe a, their ego is dead. And if their physical body dies, they've been truly living life. Their ego, their mind dies. And they truly live spiritually. But on the opposite side, you could say you're living physically. Ankar, your mind is alive, but andar da jada atmak khada marya hoya, the blossoming, that lotus flower of spiritual wisdom that should be welling up, filling you with fragrance, and anhad vajje, this unstrung songs of happiness that are blessing within your heart and your ears, oh nahi mil rahe. Apan gyan de vich dukh bhog rahe hain pyareo. We sustain this level of pain through attachment. Aur main benti kar raha ek dusra roop hai. There's the other side. There's this side of crying, but then there's the other side of happiness. Pir Budhu Shah, they fold their hands and they are filled with these tears of happiness, but not because they're crying for my sons going away. They're grateful that Guru Sahib, you blessed my sons with this ropa. You blessed my sons with this blessing that they could die for you in battle. Ki Mara tusi inni mere bachchiyan di paij rakh li. मत मैं पिछे कोई रोवसी सो मैं मूल ना पाया. अगले बच्चन ने मित पैज मित बिगसै जिस मित की पैज पावे. And what this means is mit means friend. If a friend is receiving a honorary sarupa, an honorary promotion, if they're being given maan, a true friend looks at their friends being blessed and is actually happy for them. Main benti kar raha. A friend that sees a friend receiving a promotion, being blessed by something, gaining a higher job, or getting married, a true friend is happy for them. And you might agree with this. A true friend is not who sees their friend moving forward and growing in life and gets jealous of it and says, why is my friend being promoted? I want to pull them down. Ye sacha dost nahi hunda. Sache mittar oh hunde ya mittar di paij rakhi dekh ke oh vi khud khush hunde ya. Jis mit ki paij bhaawe ona hirde nu paunda ya. So Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj is saying to their family, if Akalpur is blessing me with these robes of honor to be able to go and leave this physical world now, and has blessed me with this God's name and this seva and this entire life, then why would you cry for me? सोचने वाली गल है ना. संत में क्या रोई है जो अपने ग्रह जाए. If a Gurmukh has come into this world, Gurmukh laha ले गए, मनमुख चले मूल गवाए जियो. The Manmukhs, they leave this world empty. They lost the root of why they came. Cry for them. Because they've lost at the game. But those that have won and received the badge, the robes of honor, and they walk into that court of Akal Purkh with a glowing face, with an entourage, with flowers being thrown upon them, just like Guru Tegh Bahadur Sache Pacha in this world, Tang Pinjare vich ne. In this world, they have an aura and their beloveds are being sheathed in front of them. Apa kamange ek adi paijya. Their head, a sword is being swung at it. But ab hum bani vich padde hain pyareo, in this world, hai sab jag payo. Jai 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 surlo. In the worlds, in the Sachkhunds and in the heavens and the Puriyan where Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj is traveling towards, utte jai jaikar ho rahi hai. Our Guru is coming towards us. They're happy. Flowers are being thrown. Blessings are being given. But in this world, there's the pain of separation. Mit Paijai Mit Bigsai. Jis mit ki जिस मित की पैज भावे. That friend is so loving and so eager, has so much love, because those Gurmukhs जिन्हां ने सारी जिंदगी सेवा कीती, सिमरन कीता, ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਤੋਂ ਕੂਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ celebrate their life, ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰੋ, celebrate their life and be happy for them, because now ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਨੰਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ, and they sit in the state of ਆਨੰਦ. ਅੱਗੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਬਚਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, they say that ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਦੇਖੋ ਪੁੱਤ ਭਾਈ, Satguru here is referring to Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj themselves. Paj pehnave. That this paj has actually been given to me. Akal Purkh has blessed me with this paj, these robes of honor themselves. So then, tusi vichar karo, oh my friends and my family, to see, is my life worth being cried for? ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਆ, ਇਸ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਸ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਵਾਂਗਾ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕੀ ਲਾਹਲ ਮਿਲਣਾ? What are you going to take out of it? How are you going to celebrate that? Because I'm going to a place of ਆਨੰਦ. ਮੈਂ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ, ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਸੰਸਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੰਝ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਆ, in our very last moments, that we will cry and we will feel that bliss, and we will do simran in our very last breath, and in that moment ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਰੱਬ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ, even though we might be scrolling on TikToks and Instagrams and watching Netflix and wasting many hours throughout the day. But when it comes time to die, yeah, I'll remember God, then I'll go to Sachkhand. ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ. We think, because Gurbani which you might have read, Antkal Narayan Simre, Aisi Chinta Mein Jimre. But when we pass away, when we're about in those moments, our final breaths, you and I, jo Guru Sahib Sache Paatshah sanu sikhya dinde a, those things that we are attaching to most, जिस चीज़ ਦੀ ਚਿੰਤਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਉਹੀ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਉਸੇ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਉਣੀ. That is the thing that's going to come in front of us. If you have worried about your children your entire life, in that moment, forget that you will be able to think about Akal Purkh. Forget you'll be able to go into a tranquil state and go into samadhi in those moments. Because in that moment, jithe moh a, uthe udhar wale paase nu man bhajna hai. Where is your mind? Your mind is where your moh is. Your mind goes where your attachment is. Bhai Harman Singh Ji writes that they ask the question, what is the fastest thing in the world? We might try to answer this question today as well. What is the fastest thing in this world? The fastest thing somebody might say is the speed of light. Somebody might say it's something else. Something else can even travel faster than that. Light travels fast. Other things travel fast. Bhai Harman Singh Ji says that even faster than light and prakash, because when prakash happens, darkness doesn't say, oh, I need a 2-week notice to be able to pack my bags and leave the room. Light turns on and ignorance is dispelled. The darkness is dispelled immediately. But there's still something faster than that. O kende thoda man. Your surti. Your surti, your consciousness, your focus is the fastest, because it might take many light years for light from the sun to reach the earth. But it takes a split second for your surti to reach the sun and back. Your surti can be here. It can run and travel around the entire world. It won't take 80 days to travel around the world. Within a split second, you'll travel around the entire world and be back, because your surti is the fastest. And us mauke de vich, ek khin de vich, when we're about to pass, sadi surti kede paase khichi jani hai, jithe sada moh tikya hoya hai, where our attachment is. In this world of ours, doing our nitnem, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਆ, ਨਿਤਨੇਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਆ, ਇੱਕ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਸਾਡਾ ਮਨ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਟੂਰ ਲਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ. How many tours does your mind take just while trying to read one Japji Sahib da Path? Each word, it travels sometimes to China, sometimes to your Masi's house, sometimes somewhere else, sometimes to work. And taming the surti itself is this entire challenge of life. in this sansar, ਇੱਕ ਆਪਣੀ ਪੈਜ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਜਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪੈਜ ਦੇਣੀ, ਇਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਦੇ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ। It teaches us that what is this level of page that you can, and ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬੜੇ ਪ੍ਰਮਾਣ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਆ about accepting and living with Pana and being able to step back and renounce that. And I want to highlight the aspect of Nawab Kapoor Singh and Jassa Singh Ahluwalia. Nawab Kapoor Singh ji ਨੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਨਵਾਬੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੀ, they served it with honor and integrity. While serving, they began to train a young Jassa Singh Ahluwalia. They even, many Gursikhs would make fun of them because they had a little bit of an accent as well. Because they were from a little bit more from the western side. More of where Lahore, Persia, from these Afghanistan areas, udron aaye sige. Because their wording was a little bit of an accent, so they spoke a little bit Urdu tongue. Whereas the rest of the Singhs, they would speak more of a harder Punjabi tongue. So they would make fun of them and call Humko Tumko Singh. Just like up on Punjabi, main jan tu. And sometimes in Urdu, they say Humko Tumko. And they would make a lot of fun of them. Some of us that are born in the West, we say, main khana hega mangda. Sometimes our Punjabi is a little bit skewed sometimes. And I remember there was even a Singh who went to India from England, and they just named him Khana Mangda Singh. Because you don't say main khana mangda, main khana chonna is more of a clearer, smoother way to do it. But sometimes we say wanting to say mangda, right? You say chonna, I want, rather than mang, I beg to eat. So we make fun of this language, but they used to make fun of Jassa Singh Ahluwalia. All the Singhs did. Our history writes this. But Jassa Singh Ahluwalia nu Nawab Kapoor Singh ne kiਵੇਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਗਲਵੱਕੜੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ, this young child who was trained, did beautiful kirtan. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕੀਤਾ, ਸੇਵਾ ਕੀਤੀ, ਮਾਤਾ ਸੁੰਦਰੀ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕੀਤਾ. They learned. They were well versed, very, very intelligent. And Nawab Kapoor Singh ji ne ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਚਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ that if the Singhs, the Khalsa Panth makes fun of you, ਜੇ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਕੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਹਿ ਵੀ ਦੇਣ, do not consider it as criticism and take it upon your heart. ਨਹੀਂ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹੀ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਪੰਥ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਸੇਵਾਦਾਰ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਨਵਾਬ ਬਣਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ. They turned me from somebody that was just a servant and took me and gave me Nawabi. And they will bless you with that badge as well. They may take you and make you the next Nawab as well. They blessed him in this way. And while Nawab Kapoor Singh ji was still alive, Jinde ji, they passed on the Nawabi to Jassa Singh Ahluwalia ji. And ithe main taan benti kara, Satguru Partakh Hondai. While Satguru ji is Partakh, meaning still alive, physically alive, just like Guru Nanak Dev Ji physically alive, they pass on the Gurgaddi to Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj, while they're physically, I use the word physically because Guru never dies, physically alive, they pass on the Gurgaddi to Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. And here, while physically still alive, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾ ਕੇ, they called for Baba Buddha Ji. Baba Buddha Ji ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਇਆ, and they said, Guru Ram Das Ji ਨੂੰ ਇਸ਼ਨਾਨ ਕਰਵਾਓ. Go and get them ishnan. Bring them in. And this Guru Ram Das Ji Maharaj, Bhai Jetha Ji, they spent about 21 years doing seva at Govindwal Sahib. 21 years. Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj brought them in as an orphan. They blessed them. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੈਜ ਦਿੱਤੀ. They blessed them with honor in this world. They got them married to their daughter, Bibi Bhaaee ji. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਰਖਿਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ. And first those clothes that were drenched in dirt while doing seva of Bauli Sahib, doing seva of the Sarovars, those clothes that are drenched in mud, now Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj is doing Ashnan, and those clothes are immaculate. That tokra of mitti, of mud that they used to carry on top of their head to take piles and piles of dirt from one end to the other because they were doing construction seva. Now their dastar is clean, their dada is clean. And that tokra, instead of a tokra, there is a chandoha sahib on top of their head. They bring them into this darbar, and the entire world, sare jinne uthe sige, sab Sikh, Bandhap put Bhai Harman Peri paya. They said, इन्हां नूं Partakh हो के Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj ने इन्हां नूं Gurgaddi बख्श दित्ती. They blessed him with the Gurgaddi. And ਉੱਥੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਮੈਂ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਾਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਰੋਣ ਦੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ, crying after somebody passes away. ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਵੱਲ ਦੇਖੀਏ ਨਾ, ਇਤਿਹਾਸਕਾਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਲਿਖਦੇ ਆ, there was never a moment, many said, that in the life of Guru Ram Das Ji Maharaj, that tears weren't flowing from their eyes. Now somebody in the Sangat even said to Guru Ram Das Ji Maharaj, they said, "Tusi ronne ka to rehne, why are you crying all the time?" Somebody might say nowadays, like, why are you a crybaby? Why are you crying all the time? Because Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj is saying, "Mat Mai Pichai Koi Rovsi." Nobody better cry after me. But pyare roon de bhi fark hai. It's not the physical element. It's the virag and the detachment and the pain and the alarniya. ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਗੁਰਮਤ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ. ਪਰ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਨਾ, what are these tears? Why are tears flowing from their eyes? And the words that you hear every morning, ਹਰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਪਿੰਨੇ ਲੋਇਣਾ ਮਨ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਰਤਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਰਾਜੇ. That those tears that are flowing, they say that it's because the amrit rupi panda that's filled inside of their heart. Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj has filled my heart with so much amrit, so much love that it's overflowing. And with it overflowing, it ends up pouring out of my eyes. Pyareo, sachi gall hai. In this anand and this virag, when you sing to the Creator, when you sing to Paramatma, tears will flow from your eyes. That rupi anand. Je oh gurumukha nu dekho, oh rona fakra hai. That crying is different. Main need vah challe jiyo. When we read in Gurbani, where tears are flowing from your eyes, ke sache pacha, when will you give me darshan? And then beholding Akal Purkh, there are tears of happiness. By Nandalal Ji, they grab onto the robes of Guru Kalgitar Pacha and they say, Sache Pacha, never let go of me. Because the moment you let go of me, I will drown. In that moment, feeling that union, the union is where there are tears flowing as well. Pyareo, je aapa aam ek udaharan leni hove, jiਵੇਂ ਇੱਕ ਬੱਚਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਾਂ ਪਿਓ ਤੋਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਮਾਂ ਦੂਰ ਹੋਵੇ. A child has been separated from their mother or father for many years, say 10, 12, 15 years, had traveled to another country, fought to make ends meet, and then traveled back home. After 20 years of separation, you and I both know there will be tears in that union, but those tears are not of separation and virag. Those tears are of union. And jadon Gurmukh pyare, when they leave this physical world, ਇਹ ਉਹੀ ਉਸੇ ਰੂਪ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਸ ਵਿਰਾਗ ਵਿੱਚ, ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸ ਸਰੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਤਿਆਗਦੇ ਆ. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਮੈਂ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਾਂ, sometimes we think that ਇਹ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ, these stories, they are back maybe a few hundred years ago. ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ, how can people today experience that and know that they can go and come and back here and to from the world, and instead of jamdoots, the Panj Pyare or Guru Sahib Sache Pacha khud ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਜਾਣਗੇ. And I want to share one or two stories ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਤਾਂ ਅਦਾਸ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਵੀ ਖੁਦ ਦੇਖੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀਆਂ very similar that they had explained to me, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖੀਆਂ. ਸਾਡੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, family friend of ours, ਇੱਕ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ. There was a ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ who would very casually say to the family that ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਚਲੋ ਮੈਂ 2-4 ਮਹੀਨਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਚੱਲਿਆ. We just casually say that, and the family thinking, ਬਾਪੂ ਤੂੰ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਜਾਣਾ? Where are you going to go? ਐਂਡ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਗੇ, ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਟਿਕਟ ਕਰਾਈ ਫਿਰਦਾ ਆ, ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਇਹਨੇ। ਹੀ ਸੈਡ ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾ ਇੱਕ ਨਵਾਂ ਚਿੱਟੇ ਰੰਗ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਕੁੜਤਾ ਲਓ, ਗੈਟ ਮੀ ਅ ਚਿੱਟਾ ਰੰਗ ਦਾ ਕੁੜਤਾ ਨਵਾਂ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਨਵਾਂ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਆ। ਅੱਛਾ ਨਵਾਂ, ਚਲੋ ਬਾਪੂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨਿਊ ਕੁੜਤਾ। ਇਹ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਅਭਿਆਸੀ ਸਨ। When I say abhyasi, I don't just mean they, casually listen to a recording of Japji Sahib every day. ਮੇਰਾ ਕਹਿਣ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ their Amrit Vela was steadfast. They would read Bani on end all day. ਦਿਨ ਰਾਤ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਦਾ ਜਾਪ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਣਾ। They spent their entire life doing seva, having sangat of Mahampurkh. But they weren't well known around the world. ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਾਡੇ there's a casual bapu in your family. ਨਵਾਂ ਕੁੜਤਾ ਵੀ ਸੀਤਾ। when 2 weeks went by they said ਠੀਕ ਆ ਚਲੋ ਮੈਂ 2 ਹਫ਼ਤਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੱਲਿਆ। people said ਬਾਪੂ ਪਾਗਲ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਆ, ਬਾਪੂ has no idea what's going on. 2 days left they said ਠੀਕ ਆ ਚਲੋ ਮੈਂ ਹੋਰ ਬਸ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਨੂੰ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਆ, I'm gonna head out tomorrow. the night before ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਕੁੜਤਾ ਧੋਤਾ, they washed it, they ironed it, they put it on. in the morning they said ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕਾ ਦਿਓ, ਮੈਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਵੀ ਆ ਫਿਰ, I have to go, at least feed me. So then they ate prashada. ਰੱਜ ਰੁੱਝ ਕੇ ਦੁੱਧ ਛਕਿਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ, ਦੁੱਧ ਛਕ ਕੇ ਰੱਜ ਰੁੱਝ ਕੇ afternoon nap time came. They casually said to the family, ਠੀਕ ਆ ਚਲੋ ਮੈਂ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਫਿਰ। They said to the ਉੱਚੀ ਦੇਣੇ, they said ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੈਣ ਆ ਗਏ ਆ, ਸਿੰਘ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੈਣ ਆ ਗਏ। These were the final words that the family said that they heard in the other rooms. The Singhs are here to take me and it's time for me to go. And everybody at that point, after the Bapu saying this and again, say, Bapu, pata nahi ki soch raha hai. What is this Bapu of ours talking about? Sometimes we think, oh, Bapu no dementia hoga, we don't know what he's saying. Bapu ji laid down on their manja in the courtyard, took a white chadar, put it over top of their body, and the family thought it's song gaya, that they went to sleep. Sham pagi. It was night time. They said, Bapu, sham da prashada ban gaya. It's evening, dinner time is made. Roti is made, or roti khala. They went to try to wake him up. Jadon unhone ne chadar la ke dekhi, there was a huge smile on this Bapu's face, and he had his hand folded like this. You can only assume कि हाँ जदों बापू ने क्या होगा, ठीक है सिंह मैनू लैन आ गए मैं चलदा। What could that have meant? And this is 15 years ago. ਇਹ ਕੋਈ 400 ਸਾਲ ਪੁਰਾਣੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਖੁਦ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ। ਇੱਕ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਪਿਆਰਾ, they would stay in their bed and ਆਮ ਹੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਹੈਰਾਨੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ। ਅਸੀਂ ਤੇ ਚਲੋ ਬੜੇ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ ਹੀ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਸੀ ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ। we would know them to be great saints. But when they would lay down in the room, they were so old they couldn't actually get up and move around anymore. Inne sareer bird ho gaya, became very, very old. Without speaking, hor gurmukh pyare, they would come into the room, and these, you could say Mahampurkhs, they would sit together, but they wouldn't say a single word. They would just do Simran, they would read Bani together, and they would go in, and we would ask, tusi galbaat nahi kiti? And they're like, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਪੱਕਾ ਦੋਸਤ ਸੀ, ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਹੁਣ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਈਆਂ? ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜਾ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਦੇਸ਼ 'ਚ ਰਹੇ ਆ, you've never actually met that person before. And they say, ਨਹੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਰੀਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ, ਸੁਰਤੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੋਜ਼ ਹੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਸੀ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ। We would not meet each other physically, but we would speak regularly. And when we asked Bapu Ji, just to test them because we were confused, like how do you know them? And ਜੋ ਪੁੱਛੀ ਗਏ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ। And then in their childhood they do this. They said we've been friends for the last 40 years. ਸੁਰਤੀ ਕਰਕੇ। ਅੱਛਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ? ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੋਜ਼ ਹੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਜਾਣਾ ਨਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। And we were confused, like ਕਾਹਦੀ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕਰਨ ਲੱਗੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ? What type of place are you going to do ਤਿਆਰੀ? And we wouldn't clock on when we were kids. It wouldn't make sense to us. Your Gurmukh said ji aavo jao, they would come and go as they please. Where are you going to do what ਤਿਆਰੀ? ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। And one day casually they just said to the rest of the Singhs, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁਣ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਹੋ ਹੀ ਗਈ ਆ, ਇੱਥੇ ਹੁਣ ਬਾਕੀ ਬੁਕੀ ਜੋ ਸਾਂਭਣਾ ਆ, and ਇੱਥੇ ਹੁਣ ਪੈਕ ਬੁੱਕ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ। We're like ਚਲੋ ਬਾਪੂ ਜੀ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ, we packed the ਟੈਚੀਆਂ। I was like, yeah, touchy and tuchy naal janiya. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean touchy and naal ke jana? If you're going to travel somewhere, then we should, take your clothes and take your medicines and do all of these things. ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਥੋੜਾ ਸੁਖਮਨੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਜਾਪ ਹੀ ਸੁਣਾ ਦਿਓ, ਇਹੀ ਮੈਂ ਨਾਲ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ. Recite Sukhmani Sahib to me on end. And that's all I want to listen to before I go. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਭੁੱਖ ਲੱਗੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ. We're hungry for that. This is what we need to realize. That in this world, what we seem this madhave, kya kahiye pram aisa, jaisa maniya hoye na taisa. जब हम होते तब तू नाही, अब तू ही मैं नाही, अनल अगम जैसे लहर में उदद जल केवल जल माही. This world that we see, that we think it's in the forms of the akars and the physicalities and you and me and the world and the five elements. But remember, the five elements are coming from the duality, which is coming from the one. O ek paramatma hi jo nirakar, jab akar ek kach na drishteta. In this world, the akar, the physicality of this world itself, is a mirage, is the illusion itself. And when you begin to see that the cycle of birth and death, avan jana hukum tiseh ka hukum hai bujh samavenge. Once you're able to figure out this mystery, how you are immortal, you are one with that creator. Through the shabad and connection with that shabad, your surti becomes one with that Parmeshwar. Surti is connected here, not once you pass away. Pyareo mein meri benti hai. Don't expect that you can do whatever you want in this life and just believe you are a good person. Based on a good person on what, by what merit? What is the scale that you say you are a good person? Kyunki main ek benti karda hu na, there was a book that you can read as well. It's talking about how everybody in this world, they believe they are the best person, the criticism. There was one of the greatest firefights happened in the history of New York. Back in the day, this is in the late 1800s. One of the greatest firefights that happened. Odon sniper ya, one in building, ek jana who is known as the cop killer. One police wale nu bahut marya. In fact, wo fadya bhi kidda gaya? Because his license plate there was some problem with it, and a policeman came up to him and said, pull your window down, teri license plate vich koi kharabi hai. One usse veri gun cut ke ode sir ch goli mari. Eho jiha banda si. That is the type of person he was. No daya. Would kill anybody. He had killed hundreds and hundreds of cops. He was in a building and there were snipers surrounding him, all trying to kill him. Jadon de goliyan lagiyan na, khoon de naal one ek parche te likhya. He wrote something on a piece of paper before he died. And what did he write? He said, people don't understand me. I am the most merciful and the nicest person in the world. I wouldn't even hurt a fly. कहते हैं कि मैं तो इन्ना दयावान बंदा, मैं तो मक्खी ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦਾ. ਮੇਰਾ ਕਹਿਣ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੀਸ਼ੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖੀਏ ਨਾ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਰਗਾ ਤਾਂ ਸੰਤ ਹੈ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ. That nobody is great as us. Our perception of our life. But pyare, Guru is a darpan. Guru is a mirror. When we look into Gurbani, it becomes a mirror and shows us the flaws. It shows us the pimples on our face. It shows us the dog and the scratches and the things that we don't want to actually accept. Bhai Harman Singh Ji writes that if a dog is running around in a room and you walk outside of the room, does the dog stop running around? If you don't look inside of the room anymore. ਜੇ ਇੱਕ ਕੁੱਕਰ ਕਮਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੇੜੇ ਮਾਰਦਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਮਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਿਕਲ ਜਾਓ, does the dog stop? Just because you weren't there to see it doesn't mean the dog is not running around anymore. Here's the question that Bhai Harman Singh Ji is answering. They say, my mind tikda nahi hai. Your mind can't focus. They say, every time I try to read Gurbani, every time I try to do Simran, I look inside of me and my mind runs around everywhere. So what do? Do they stop doing Simran? But is that the solution? It is equivalent to you looking outside the window, not looking at the dog, but every time you look inside, you see a dog running around uncontrollably. So you decide, you know what, I'm going to look outside again. You look into the world for happiness. When you try to look internally for happiness, then you just see your mind running around anywhere. But it was doing that anyways, whether you're looking inwardly or not. But je tusi andar mukhi hoke, if you're able to look inside, deep within, assess your flaws, use Gurbani as that mirror, as that self-reflection, truly one day you will see the reflection of Akal Purkh's Jyot within yourself as well. You will see that light of the Creator within yourself. And that moment of union and bliss and anhadwaje, you will truly experience liberation. And the physical body, the physical body will die here. मेरी बेनती जिथे आप विचार शुरू की सी, this body geo pind te nisajya. This geo pind, the G of the light, that separated being that's within us, is married to this body of ours. But even then it will separate, but the body, the jind, will not know when. Haan Gurmukha nu pata lag janda, like I've highlighted, the Gurmukhs will know when their time has come. But jede ne agyani, those of us that are trying to learn and we take inspiration from these saints, we need to look deep within ourselves to say, if death is always on top of our head, Kabir kaal karanta abhay kar, ab karta soy taal, pachhe kachu na hoega jo sir par aave kaal. This death is upon our head. So every breath that goes in our body, we don't know if it's going to come out. Har japdeyan khin til na kijai meri jindadiye, mat ke jape so aave ke na aave Ram. We don't know if the breath that's coming inside of us, if it's ever going to go out again. Use the Sikhya and these teachings of this Bani, of Ramkali Sadh, this calling of death, to know that you're about to be called. You will be called at one point. Because that is your future. It doesn't matter what fortune teller you go to. Every fortune teller will have to tell you at some point that you marna hai. But sanu hunda how, when, why, bas eh cheete rakh leo. It's not about kiਵੇਂ. It's about ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਲਾਹਾ ਖੱਟ ਕੇ ਕੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚੱਲੇ ਹਾਂ. What is the laha that we're doing in every breath and every, that is a currency. Exchange it properly. Hum har ke naam ke vyapari. Exchange that, fill your boat with that, and pyareo jadon dargah de vich javange, we're able to show that with our face, and that is the badge. That is the robes of honor that we will be able to walk into dargah with. ਉਹੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਹਲਤ ਪਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਹਾਈ ਹੋਣਾ ਆ. ਸੋ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਇੱਥੇ ਇੰਨੀਆਂ ਬੇਨਤੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਨ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ. While talking, while speaking, I've made many mistakes. Guru Amar Das Ji ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰਤੱਖ ਹੁੰਦਿਆਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਤਾ ਗੱਦੀ ਬਖਸ਼ ਕੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਨੂੰ, ਸਿੱਖ ਜਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਪੈਰੀ ਪਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ. ਐਂਡ ਨਾਓ ਅਗਲੇ ਪਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ will say, ਹੁਣ ਮੇਰੇ ਜਾਣ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ? ਅੰਤੈ ਸਤਗੁਰ ਬੋਲਿਆ, ਮੈਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਇੱਕ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਿਓ ਨਿਰਵਾਣ ਜੀਓ. After I pass away, you're going to do kirtan in this way. That is why the 10 days after, ਆਪਣਾ ਵੀ, we celebrate 10 days after somebody passes away. It's not for the crying or get rid of the ghost or any of that kind of stuff. It's so that we get the laha. And we are able to do the ardas for the person that has went. We can do a saj part in that time. We can do Ramkali ki Vardi Katha in that time. We can do kirtan for ourselves and console ourselves. And use that moment of time when somebody is separated from our families to recognize, Sahib Samale Panth ne halle, asan pe utthe jana, jana ta appan vi utthe hi hai. We are going to have to go there. If Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj is going, then sanu vi utthe hi jana paina. So ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਇੰਨੀਆਂ ਬੇਨਤੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੀਆਂ. while talking, while speaking, I made many mistakes, and ਜਾਣ ਬੱਚਾ ਸਮਝ ਕੇ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ. ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਗੱਜ ਵੱਜ ਕੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਓ ਜੀ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki fateh.